Welcome, everyone. This is the Elevator Show, where myself, Kirk Buchner, along with Chris Mouradian, we look at the last 30 days of sports. Sometimes music, not this one, not this month, but the last 30 days and who helped their case, who did something more elite to make themselves more of a Hall of Famer in their respective sport, and who did not. Who pressed an elevator going up, who pressed an elevator going down, and sometimes we have people who get kicked out of the building completely. I don't quite have that in this one. But like always, we don't tell each other who we've picked. We just tell each other the amount so that we know what kind of flow we're going to do. And we find that sort of a little bit more fun. But before we get into the fun, here's something also just as fun. You have until the end of this month to go and vote on a project that is near and dear to Chris's heart and my own, because we essentially it's ours. It's our project. It's the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. No one came up with it, so Evan Nolan, my other partner, my partner on the site, we did, and it's ours. We trademarked it. It's all up for you to vote. Coaches, contributors, players. We've already done 2 years. All you have to do is go there, vote. We're not like the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're not even going to ask your email. We're not going to send you anything. Nothing. We're not going to bother you again after this. That's a selling point right there, is it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't have any merch to sell you.
Not yet. We're working on that.
Yeah, we will eventually. Yeah. So all you got to do, www.theUSAHOF.com. Easy to remember. United States of America, Hall of Fame, USAHOF.com. Vote now. You can vote every day. It would mean a lot to us. That would actually mean more than anything else is supporting that project.
Yep. I did my civic duty this morning and voted and encourage everybody else to take a shot. It's so much fun, really. It is. You can go in there. You can pick 25 athletes today. You go in there and pick 25 different athletes tomorrow, and you'd be right both times. So give it a shot. Have fun with it. The more people that go out and vote, the better the sample is. The more recognition certain athletes will get in this. And like I said, it really is a lot of fun. So encourage everybody to go out there and don't just vote for the athletes. Take a look at the coaches. Take a look at the contributors as well, because there's a lot of deserving people on those ballots as well.
Absolutely. And people have. It's the first year where that's pretty much equaled the same amount of votes or close to. So we're already seeing big wins across the board for us, as we've already beaten last year's numbers. But hopefully we can destroy last year's numbers. That's what we want to do. And let's get into this program here. Chris and I were on a show yesterday where we talked a lot about, along with our good friend Longhorn Dave Whitlock, we discuss the first chunk of that about the World Series. And when you've got a World Series completion, well, it's a big feather in a lot of Hall of Fame pockets, isn't it?
It certainly is. It can sometimes be that deciding factor on a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and I've said before, I'll say again, I think right now on the field, the Dodgers entered the 25 World Series with 4 people who are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Clayton Kershaw obviously being one. Thankfully, it's not a playoff Hall of Fame. But I was very happy, even though my beloved Blue Jays failed to win, I was very happy to see that Kershaw in his final outing performed well. Because that, just for whatever reason in the playoffs, he just never did.
Yeah, so. I remember Brandon Woodruff, of all people, taking him deep in playoff series against Milwaukee a few years back. So back when they let pitchers bat, which another one of those.
Well, in theory, that happened in the World Series.
In theory.
Oh, Ohtani.
Well, okay, yeah, but he's the special case, though.
Yeah, well, he's a very special case. A Hall of Famer right now, unless it is proven that he did make those bets.
Yeah, I mean, he could go on another alleged thanks.
He's lucky Pablo Torre doesn't cover baseball, is what I'm going to tell him. But Ohtani's obviously a level of his own, which leaves 2 other players, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, who I think are Hall of Famers. I think each of them, more Freeman than Betts, based on this year, help their
Okay.
case a little
You,
bit more.
you sure about that?
Yes, I am. Oh,
You
is
sure about that?
you are not.
I am not.
You are not. Okay. You told me that there's going to be one that you said elevator down.
Yeah,
Should we go into that since obviously it's one of those two players?
absolutely. It is, and it is Mookie Betts.
Okay.
So he obviously did not have a good playoff series this year. He did not have a good overall series this year,
Mhm.
season this year. He has had very good seasons in the past, but he's also had a lot of very average seasons, but accumulated awards that I think kind of give his career a little more shine than maybe he's earned.
Okay.
I'm
Interesting.
not I'm not convinced that he's there yet. And having a down season like he did this year,
Mhm.
down World Series, a down playoff series, in general, had me kind of, we were talking last night, and I kind of went back and I looked at him again today, and as we sit today here, and end of the season, he's got less than 2,000 hits, 1,767 hits, less than 300 home runs, a career batting average under 300. He's only had 200 hits in the season once. This past season, he played in nearly all games, 150 games, finished with a 258 batting average. Very, very pedestrian season for him.
For him. Okay.
Um,
I've got a counter when you're ready, but yes.
yeah, yeah. So just kind of looking back on it, and he's got the four championships that really are going to weigh heavily
Mhm.
in his argument when his name is on the ballot. But it just kind of looking at it and going, I'm just not 100% there yet with him.
Okay. I went on another show. Well, I had another show, my show too. I had a different guest, and his proposition to me, and shout out to Rob the Yankee, Rob Doback, great guy. Actually, I think we're going to put a lot of. You're probably going to be introduced to him sooner than later, I think.
Cool.
And he asked me to come up with 10 people right active who were Hall of Famers. I went with Betts, and as one of them. I think it was my ninth or 10th. Betts, in terms of advanced metrics, he's got the war that they're going to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But he did something this year that I thought was incredible. Yes, I agree with everything he said on his offense. Defensively, he led the league in defensive B war. And he played a new position. Who goes from outfield to shortstop in their early 30s and becomes a finalist for a gold glove? That he lost to Mason Wynn. I didn't see enough Cardinals games. I didn't do a deep enough dive to see if maybe he was robbed on that, but he had a gold glove caliber year.
And
And
he's had gold gloves in the past. I think
he
what is he up
has.
to here? Six of them.
Right. That all being in the outfield. And now
Right, correct.
look what he was able to do this year and provide that type of flexibility to this type of team. And again, yeah, when I look at those raw numbers that you're talking about, yeah, I totally agree with you. But if I've got Scott Rowland in easy, or the Hall did,
Mm-hmm.
you can't tell me that Betts didn't have a better career because he did. And he still is, as a lot of will compile some of these milestones that you're talking about.
Sure, sure. I mean, he's young still. I mean, that's the thing that's working in his favor. He's in his early 30s, so he's definitely got some more edge of prime years. We'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Next year we use age 33 season. So yes, he definitely has more, and I think that's kind of where I'm at with him. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you still have time. I'm not ready to anoint you a Hall of Famer yet.
Okay.
I will still buy your cards when I see him at the show as if you are, because that's kind of what I target when I go out to the card shows.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to see a bounce back here from next year.
Okay. No, fair enough. But so here's my guy on the Dodgers who I think no one's talking about in terms of the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And or if they are, I haven't seen it. I'm going to manager Dave Roberts.
Yeah, he was actually one of mine as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So then I guess we can both sort of like talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
3 World Series now, been with the LA since 2016. And I know what a lot of people are thinking. And I had a conversation with my good friend Dave out in Kitchener, Ontario. How you doing, brother? And he says, yeah, well, with that team, I could do it too. Well, we've seen loaded teams not win. We've seen loaded teams fall apart. We've seen in all sports where they just couldn't be cohesively put together. And yeah, you could argue that the GM had a lot to do with it. Of course he did. But he's the guy in there day in, day out. Since he's been hired as the manager, at no point have the Dodgers missed the playoffs. 5 World Series appearances, 3 World Series titles, and as Biggie said, mo money, mo problems. You look at that Dodgers lineup. Do you see a big ego in there?
No, I don't. I see a lot of players that know they're very good. Know that in some cases know that they're great, like Ohtani, but also know that they are part of a team.
Right. And I've got to give Dave Roberts a lot of credit for that. I don't know. Obviously, we're not in the dugout. We're not in the locker room. We don't know everything he does, but you never hear anything bad. Yes, we can criticize a call here or two. I have criticized some choices that I wouldn't have made. Having said that, I can't not look at somebody who's put 10 years together, regardless of who he had, and not give him the props that he deserves. 944 wins against only 575 losses. Obviously, that was somebody you were going to talk about. So
yeah, I mentioned to the 2016 Manager of the Year award. And that my case with him or my selling point with him was being able to manage all these superstar players. And that's one of the reasons why I had Dave Roberts on here and not the general manager, because it's easy to go out and get the players when you don't really have to worry about the money being spent to get those players. Even if you make a mistake on somebody, you can kind of absorb that loss and move on rather quickly. But the manager is the one that has to go out there every day, make those players a cohesive unit that wins games. He made some excellent decisions as far as player changes within the World Series, especially in that Game 7 there. And those are things that his experience of having been there 5 times previously or 4 times previously, played into that. But at the same time, other managers, other coaches, and other sports, when they're in that biggest game, the shorts get a little too tight for them, and they either overthink it or are afraid to make the decision, afraid to make that move that the press is going to second guess them on and third guess them on throughout the off season if it doesn't go their way. He just goes and does what he feels is best. His instincts have been right more than they haven't been, and the fact that he's been able to take teams that, as you said, sometimes these super teams, they just can't put it all together, and he's been able to go out there and put it all together, all the different personalities and everything else. So yeah, I just thought it was more the ability of him to manage that team with all the expectations of having the highest payroll and having the expectation that they're supposed to win every World Series that they get to.
Yeah, and it just seems like a real good guy. I didn't know this until recently, that he was born in Japan and half Japanese.
Yeah.
So,
No, I noticed that as well. Kind of cool. A little
yeah, so
extra.
I mean, he doesn't speak very well Japanese, but still, I
Speak
mean,
very well Japanese.
I don't
Speak
speak
Japanese
English
very well.
either. Yeah, okay, I deserve that. I deserved all of that, and you could have been far more harsh. Thank you for not. I,
I talk like a
I would
sausage
have.
a lot too, so don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, my major was English. Basically, okay, I'm going to college. What am I going to take? Well, I know this language already. Let's run with this.
Yeah, it's the language I speak. It's the language I failed in high school. So go figure.
Luckily, my sarcasm is really good, so I do consider myself bilingual. But yeah, I mean, I think that doesn't hurt when you're trying to get Japanese guys on your team either.
No, that's definitely a selling point.
Yeah. I have three remaining that are all downs, and I think you
Okay.
have three ups.
Yep, I have three that I can go with ups here. So you want me to go ahead with an up here?
Go ahead, please.
All right. Jump to football here, and going to go to Keenan Allen.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, Keenan Allen's back home in San Diego. Back home with the Chargers. It's stupid out, Los Angeles, whatever. Um, but he had called in his 1,000th career reception earlier this month or last month. So that is obviously a major milestone in a receiver's career. Their career obviously puts them on pace to be somebody that gets strong consideration when he does retire. And so just we mentioned it last month with some of these super round number type milestones. That was one that just stood out to me this month, and so I wanted to
Mhm.
mention Keenan Allen here.
No, that's a really good one. Uh, so I'm sticking with the gridiron here for
Mhm.
my elevator down, and someone he's a repeat offender, and which also fits well because he's also a repeat sex offender.
Oh, yeah.
He's no longer a record holder, and that's Justin Tucker. Um, I have said, will continue to say that Justin Tucker in his prime was better than any other kicker. That's not going to be the case in 10 years.
Not with the way the game's changed.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if we were to say that Patrick Mahomes right now is the best quarterback, uh, could he be of all time? When it's all said and done, it's possible. I mean, I never would have thought anyone could catch Brady, but the way Mahomes is, sure. Uh, Jim Brown might be the best running back to a lot of people, still is to me,
Mhm.
but you can make cases for some others. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, but
Mhm.
in kicker, in any position, regardless of what it is, I think it's very safe to say that Justin Tucker in his prime will be an average kicker in 2035 or 2040. That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't have the longest kick anymore. Uh, Cam Little, the guy who did a 70-yard preseason kick, no shock, he did a 68, which got very little attention because it wasn't at the buzzer.
Yeah, right, right.
God, get out of Jacksonville. Nobody cares in Jacksonville. I'm telling you, or the London Jaguars, or whatever you're going to be called soon when you relocate. But congrats to Cam Little. I'm not putting him on the Hall of Fame trajectory right now. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's another nail in Justin Tucker's coffin. But maybe he can get a rub somewhere else.
Ooh. Yeah, well, there's that for
I,
sure.
I don't have any sympathy for the guy either. I really don't. Sorry, Justin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice tie in there. You got somebody that did something great, and it did knock somebody else down the ladder, and obviously that was something in Justin's resume that
Mhm.
had been there for quite a while and he was known for. So yeah, I mean the records are made to be broken. I think Cam Little's record will probably be broken possibly later this year.
Maybe
This
by
week.
him.
Maybe by him. Exactly. The way the kicking game has changed. Um, I've been watching a shitload of This Week in Pro Football on YouTube here lately, and a lot of the early 70, 71, 72 season stuff with the
Yeah, yeah,
highlights, and you look at the kicking game back then, and somebody kicking like a 40-yarder, 42-yarder, to win a game was a big deal. And now it's if you miss a 42-yarder, 43-yarder or something like that, the coaches are looking at you sideways now.
Oh yeah,
So
you're getting booed out of the building, and
yeah,
people are looking at the waiver wire.
yeah,
Like, who
yeah.
else can we get? Uh, and you look at those old films too. Because Paul and I were looking at some old games. We got to record some more of those, and it's fascinating. Like those things that were always there. Like you can't say, well, I mean, they didn't know about conditioning, sure, but you didn't think to follow through with the leg.
Sure, yeah.
No,
The way the
they weren't
Yeah,
doing. most of them all played golf. They all knew to follow through with the club.
Yeah, and same thing with the punting too. You look at the punting and how that was,
Mhm.
that's changed as well, and the way they're kicking the ball and angling it and kicking the tip of the ball instead of the meat of the ball or whatever. So yeah, kicking's it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to change the rules when it comes to kicking, whether it be make the goalpost more, narrower or something like that, because it's getting to the point where it's not a challenge anymore. Even moving the PATs back didn't really have any kind of noticeable impact on the game.
Yeah, but absolutely.
Good one. I like that. Shall I shall
Yep.
I go with an up here?
Yep.
All right. Staying in football, actually staying in the same position here, wide receiver, and that's Devontae Adams.
Mm.
So Devontae Adams had a few very quiet seasons recently, playing for the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Jets. He finally was able to be free of
Your buddy?
quarterback quarterback
Uh,
hell there.
he loved Aaron. He did love Aaron.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made Aaron actually appear to be a legitimate quarterback for the NFL.
Okay.
But now he's oh, come on. Look at you. Watch those highlights, Aaron. It's always the wide receivers making the leaping catches or pulling in some kind of Hail Mary, and everybody's like, oh, what, Aaron Rodgers did this, Aaron Rodgers did that. Ah, bullshit. It's the receivers that made him.
Man, you hate him more than a liberal.
I've had years of pent-up anger.
Okay, yeah. But
But
Devontae.
Devontae, yeah. So he's with the Los Angeles Rams now, playing with Matthew Stafford, and has definitely seen a bit of a career resurgence here. It's age 33 season. He's currently leads the league in touchdown receptions with 8. He has got 993 career receptions. So we'll be talking about him again next month when he clicks over 1,000, I bet. Um, but yeah, he's just been a much better option for the Rams here than they've than he was previously with the Jets, where he was number one with the Rams. He's got they got some other talent on the team, and it's allowed him to kind of reestablish himself as that Hall of Fame caliber wide receiver that he had been up until um, the Las Vegas years. I think he was definitely on a Hall of Fame track with Green Bay, and even his first year with Las Vegas. I mean, he kind of went out there to prove that he could do it without Rodgers as his quarterback, and he did. He had an excellent season there his first year with the Raiders. So
That's a good
um,
one. I can tether something right with that if you like.
yeah, please.
I wasn't planning to do it today, but it was on my radar.
Mhm.
Uh, if we were to when we did our pro football prediction show,
Yeah, yeah.
if one of us were to say, okay, here we are at the halfway mark, Daniel Jones is the leading passer in yards, and Matthew Stafford is the leading passer in terms of touchdowns.
Mhm.
You both would have declared me insane, and we wouldn't be doing a show anymore because I keep a straight jacket. Of course, I'd be
Yeah.
released because I'm in a very liberal state, but that's okay. But yeah, Stafford, right? I mean, he's got to compile and compile and compile. Let's say he gets another Pro Bowl. Let's say right now the Super Bowl is wide open.
Yeah.
It's not like in previous years where you think, okay, it's Team X's to lose, and we've got contenders Y, Z, and A or whatever.
Mhm.
I can't make a convincing case and say this team's going to win, period. And the
Right.
only way they lose is if this happens.
Yeah.
I don't have
Mhm.
that for anyone. So it's not inconceivable that the Rams are back.
Mhm.
Let's say Stafford wins a second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Does so in a year where he maybe gets some individual award consideration because he's never won. I don't think he's ever received a vote for either the MVP or the Offensive Player of the Year award. I'm pretty sure he hasn't. But if you win two Super Bowls, you retire in the top six, top seven. Yes, I can say that Matt Ryan might have had a better career overall, but you're quarterback. You got to win those Super Bowls. He
Mhm.
gets you two, and he does that where he's playing very well. I mean, then if you're making cases for people are making cases for Eli, can I not make the same for Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, I think with Matthew Stafford, because of the numbers that he would likely finish with, I think he would have a stronger case than Eli because even though they both will have very how to put it, their win-loss record is going to be very average. Um, I think Stafford's numbers, the times he led the league in certain categories, as far as like attempts and completions and touchdowns and things like that, that he's going to um, be able to garner more attention when that time comes. If you remember, you talk about that show we did earlier, we talked about predictions.
Mhm.
Rams were my NFC prediction over Green Bay and Philadelphia and Detroit. So uh, kind of looking like they are legit so far.
Mhm.
And with uh, with that, a good deep playoff run for Stafford would be
Yeah.
and you dream big and win a Super Bowl. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something that plays very well in his category or his candidacy.
And I love how this can actually dovetail to my elevator down because in our
All right.
prediction show, and amazingly, this hasn't fallen apart yet. I said San Francisco was going to run away with the West.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in contention despite
Yeah.
injury after injury after injury. Uh, I think Fred Warner already has the better career and the better case, but I'm going with the other big defensive hit of the year, and that is with Nick Bosa. That happened early in
Mm,
October. And
yeah.
it's not that I don't have mad respect for Nick Bosa. We're talking about one of the few players who at one point won a defensive rookie of the year and later a defensive player of the year. I didn't check to see how many people have done that, but it's not a very big list. Uh, in his 6 years, he was a Pro Bowler in five of them, and in the one he wasn't, he only played 2 games because he had a torn ACL. But now he's got another torn ACL, and it's not that I didn't think that he was on. I do think he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and he still could be. But
Mhm.
now he's got two. This is going to be a second one,
Yeah.
and we're asking an awful lot. And as you and I have talked, everyone in our crew and everyone in our orbit have talked about, the Pro Football Hall of Fame is hard to get into. And as we're seeing more elite pass rushers, as great as Bosa was, the fact that he was a defensive player of the year, he could easily fall so far behind because whenever we see a player with a short career, and I don't know that Bosa is going to have a short career. I hope that's not the case at all. But let's say it is. Let's say he's only got a couple more years. Well, now two of them were pretty much stripped from him completely. He does have the defensive player of the year, but there's a lot of these great players around him right now that can boast a better resume. Could Bosa fall through a crack? I don't know, but it just became a lot easier.
Yeah. Anytime you have an injury that takes you out for a full season like this, or three-quarters of a season, or however long it was in this case here, that's going to work against you when at the end of the season you don't have the same kind of numbers that your contemporaries have
Mhm.
that played it, and you hate to see it with a good player like Bosa there. He's got all the talent in the world. He's had early success in his career. He's on a trajectory that unfortunately the injuries are his biggest roadblock to the Hall of Fame right now.
Mhm.
If he could, you hate to say, if he just stay healthy, he'd have so much easier of a chance of completing that career trajectory that he's currently on.
Yeah,
Hopefully he gets healthy, he gets back there, and he terrorizes quarterbacks on every other team but Green Bay.
ditto New Orleans. All right, the floor is yours, sir.
Sure. Let's wrap up my ups here this month, and I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley again. Mentioned him at the end of this last season. He had a tremendous 2024 first year. Was his first year with his second year with
The Giants.
Philadelphia last year?
Oh no,
Second, yeah.
this is the second with Philly.
Right. So his first year with Philadelphia, kind of 2,000 yard. He had the 2,000 yard season last year. So definitely put his name on the radar after the troubles he had in New York. But earlier this month, he accomplished, and I got to look to get the exact wording here. So he became the sixth player in NFL history with at least 7,500 rushing yards and 2,500 receiving yards in his first 100 games. And he joins Edgerrin James, Thurman Thomas, LaDainian Tomlinson, Steven Jackson, and LaShawn McCoy. Now, Tomlinson are already in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shady's coming up. I think he's eligible this year or eligible next year. He's on the list coming up here. And Steven Jackson just can't get any respect for his career. Got off to a great start and kind of tailed off a little bit, but he's definitely somebody whose career needs to be looked at a little deeper. But Barkley joined those six players here this past month with this 75-25, and just another feather in his cap. Another step towards Cooperstown for him.
You mean Canton?
I can. We were talking baseball last night. Yeah, Canton, correct.
Yep. Actually, I was kicking around another elevator down, but I don't think he was even getting in the building. But it kind of ties. I'll just sort of shoot that out now. Yeah. I think we can sort of agree that Brian Dable just does not know how to coach great offensive skill players. Or look what Daniel Jones is doing without him, and Barkley.
Yep.
And I know Barkley had some good years before, but still,
yeah,
it's interesting. But anyway,
Barkley had good years, but with Philadelphia, Sirianni, he's taking it to the next level.
Absolutely, and he's still getting his TDs despite the fact that they're doing a tush push a lot of the time, which still works. I mean, Well, I'm going to finish off with basketball. And as Kwame Brown so eloquently put it a couple years ago, in the rap, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact quote. Check out Kwame's show on YouTube. He calls it Bust Life. So he kind of leans into the fact that, maybe as a number one pick, I didn't quite sort of measure up, but he just calls it the way he sees it. And I kind of love it. And he said in the rap game, there's NBA young boy, but Ja Morant is NBA dumb boy. Yeah. And a couple 2 years ago, Morant, the dumbass that he is, got a suspension for flashing a gun on an Instagram, or was it TikTok? Doesn't matter, on social media.
Social media, yeah.
Well, something that all the players know they can't do. So what does he do? He does it again. Yeah. Morant, who's making $40 million this year, would have made a lot more because he cost himself an All-NBA, which would have kicked in a certain minimum floor, which was higher than he's getting paid now. Look, I'm not going to pretend, Chris, that I know anything about gangster life. Yeah, I listen to a lot of gangster rap. I can rap a lot of it. Some words I'm not allowed to say, but I can do it. I've been to many a gangster rap show, despite how I look. But I've done that. I love all types of music. I really do. Saying that, I'm not going to pretend because I listen to a lot of it that I know anything about the culture or that I could fit in, because I don't. Ja Morant is apparently one of those guys too. And for whatever reason, we've seen people in sports who get fined and screw up their careers for stupid things. Sometimes it's drugs. Obviously, that's not going to end well, but at least for a fleeting moment, they got some kind of high. And maybe they got it again and again and again. And addiction's a horrible thing. Some players have lost their career because they just couldn't stop getting women pregnant, or their money rather, or they'd be in a sex scandal after another. But at least at that moment, they had some kind of pleasure. What do you get for what kind of joy do you get after going to a club? Like, look what I got. How many times you see like 15-year-old TikTokers, white boys trying to do that, and then their gun goes off and shit like that. I think there's a whole YouTube montage of wannabe gangsters. And obviously Ja's not, because that's what a lot of the other players who were kind of call him out on. Stop being what you're not. What you are is a hell of a talented point guard. What you are is somebody who the NBA wanted to make the face of the league. Can't anymore. But this last week, there was a game against the Lakers in one of the play-in series. Not play-in, sorry. The NBA Cup, which I think the amount of people who care about the NBA Cup is...
I didn't even know what was going on.
Oh, it's in an in-tournament series.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know it started.
That started. So, I mean, the fact that it's a cup game is irrelevant, but Morant had a shitty game. He was sloppy. He was lazy. He was out of position a lot. And when reporters asked him about it, he pretty much said, ask the coaches. And then he said it right after, that the coaches didn't want to play him. Now, they've got a real hard-ass European coach that took over, Tomas Salo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. It's two I's to begin. So, whenever we look at our Finnish hockey players, it usually doesn't start with I's.
No.
That's always
J's.
Yeah, but I mean, the I's are in between. So never really have a problem with that. Anyway, clearly they're not getting along. Asalo just signed a new contract. They want to go with him. He was a super mind from Europe. We'll see whether he is or isn't. But it seems pretty clear that the organization is rallying around the coach and not the superstar player. That doesn't happen in basketball. It's usually the other way around. He was suspended for a game for conduct deemed detrimental to the team. And obviously, he's got to get the hell out of Memphis. He doesn't want to be there. They don't want him. He's still young. He's still got a lot of talent, but he's also very, very stupid. And he's got an idiot dad. Are you familiar with his dad, T. Morant? All right, basically,
yes, I am.
Okay, a wannabe celebrity. He's been kicked out of games because he criticized refs directly. Caused a fight with one of the Aaron Nesmith, I believe, of the Pacers. He was coming after him. And again, if a ref's not afraid to kick out a superstar's dad, that means that they're not considered at that level of respect. He's not respected in the league. He's not respected in the locker room. I can tell. We can all tell this because whenever there's a sort of a coach issue around the players, NBA players, one of the things I love about the NBA is they don't have much of a filter.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't see a lot of the other Grizzlies jumping up to his defense. So either way, he's got to get out of there and tell his dad to knock stuff off. Here's how much of a weenie his dad is. Do you know what his dad dressed up for as Halloween?
This kid?
Yes. Yes. Look, I'll tell you a story here. My wife worked at the Fairmont Royal York. Met a lot of celebrities there. And there's always protocol when you're dealing with celebrities, generally. But she never had a bad experience except for two people. One was Gene Simmons. The other has a lot of T. Morant in him. And that's Bieber. No, not Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's dad. Who walked in there, demanded a room, said, "Don't you know who I am?" Well, no, we don't. That was the only time she ever dealt with a celebrity asshole. Well, Gene, but Gene was not nearly at the level of that. I probably shouldn't be sharing that story, but whatever.
You can edit that out if you need to.
I'm not going to add that. I mean, I don't think there's really that going to be a whole lot of repercussion for her calling Justin Bieber's dad an asshole. And look at kind of the mess that Justin is when Spencer came back in that life. Obviously, this guy's not father of the year. I'm sure he tried, but I mean, clearly one of those people. My dreams didn't come true, so I'm going to live it all through my dad, through him.
Yeah,
I don't know his whole story, but he's a clown. And Morant is somebody who has Hall of Fame potential, especially when we look back at when we're talking about football Hall of Fame. Nick Bosa is fighting for the hardest Hall of Fame. This is the easiest. But he's got to get out of Memphis, and Memphis has to get rid of him, and he's got to like change some stuff in his life because he is still that good.
sure.
But this isn't working. And I don't know that he's got it in him to make stuff work. I don't know. My friend David, when we're talking, it's like he says like this guy thinks he's Iverson. Iverson really was from the streets. Iverson didn't need to fake street cred because he had it. Iverson would have known not to do what you did during the social media era because he didn't need to prove that he was that he was a tough man, and that he came from a tough life. He just was. I mean, I wish Gilbert Arenas didn't get arrested so I could hear his take on this. But anyway, yeah, that's my. I don't want to say elevator down, but just like elevator, like, what are you doing, dude? It's like he's trying to press the button up, but he hit the fire button instead because he's too stupid. Like I don't understand how you're pissing it all away for virtually nothing. And there's no reason. I don't know, there's no excuse for that. And how many times do we see in basketball? And it's always a red flag when your best player is not the leader. There's always going to be a problem. Vince Carter was that guy. And I guarantee you, Vince Carter regrets how everything that he did in his first early years. And he wasn't nearly as dumb as this guy. Vince just got a little bit selfish and frustrated, with the coaching carousel. But Vince will tell you, I did a lot of things wrong. Iverson even says, I wish I could have worked better with Larry Brown. And a lot of that was my fault. This guy, when your best friend's your dad, I don't know that your dad should be your best friend. Should be your dad.
It's a tough.
I mean, I don't know.
It can be tough. Yeah, you want to do certain things. You think especially as they get older, you can. But at the same time, you need to maintain that hierarchy. That's lack of a better word. And if you don't, you really run the risk of making a big mess.
And that's got to be something that's going on here. I mean, and again, I don't even know if this is the case, but it seems like these are the two father sons. Let's go to the club and pick up some chicks. Do that with your dad? Don't do that with your kid.
No,
I would think not. I don't know.
No,
but
no.
Anyway, I've ranted enough.
Yeah. No, that's good. I saw the suspension, the conduct detrimental to his team story. I just kind of snickered and thought, yeah, okay, it seems about par for the course here with him.
Unfortunately, and it's just again all so preventable and all for what? Mm-hmm. For zero actual gratification of any kind. Mm-hmm. It is worthless. It is stupid. And I got no reason to think it's going to change. I hope it does.
Well, he's got to want to change it. He's got to get to the point where he sees that this is interfering with his career, interfering with his earning potential, and decide that he's gonna make that change because nobody's gonna make it for him.
No. Oh well, and that brings us to a close. Perhaps one day all these people we talked about will be candidates on the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. I'll probably be dead by then.
No, don't think so.
Ja Morant, let's see, be eligible in 50. I'd have to live another 24 years. I'm 53 now. I'd be 77. It's possible.
It's possible.
Uh, or maybe either Evan's kid or your kid will take it over. Because my kid, I don't think can.
Lacks thumbs.
Yeah, she lacks thumbs and yeah, yes, Winnie, I know. It also lacks interest. So she was barking a lot when I was yelling at the TV during the Jays crushing defeat. But anyway, what will they be eligible for? Possibly the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Last push, www.theusahof.com. Vote now, vote every day. Up to all of you. Chris doesn't alter the votes. I don't alter the votes. We actually publish the ranking of everything. Even if it hurts someone's feelings that they came in last.
Somebody's got to come in last. But
Someone's got to come in last.
When you're last on this list here, that's really not anything to be ashamed of.
I get a feeling it's going to be a horse jockey again. I actually I haven't even seen the bottom parts of it. I've only gotten updates on the top 25.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right. So with that, wherever you are, wherever you may be, make today count because it never comes again. Take care, everybody.
Right.